Hey everybody. It seems that I either apparently forgot to go over how to do a gitignore in class, or I don't know, but I had a couple questions about it, so I figured I'd go ahead and talk about it real quick. You'll see here that I have a folder, CS-290 API, on my desktop, and there's nothing in it whatsoever. Where's my VS Code? So I'm on my Windows machine, as you can see, because I'm at home and I can. So this is the more challenging of the two. So I figured I would do this one. So to create your Git, to initialize your Git, the first thing you need to do is run git bash, which you should have already downloaded. And you'll see here that I'm here. So let me print my working directory to see where I actually am. I'm in my users directory, so let me cd to desktop, and then into the CS-290 API. So I'm right here, and if I print my working directory, you can see that I am in users, me, desktop. So I'm on my desktop and inside of this folder. And if I ls, there should be nothing here. There is nothing there. So what you want to do is you want to do git init, git space init, and it stands for initialize. And now if I ls, you'll see there's still nothing, but if I ls-a, which shows all, you'll see that I have a .git folder in there. And if you remember from class, this is something that Git creates for us. It's all programmatically edited and updated. You should never, ever, ever, for any reason, go into this folder and change anything or edit anything, because it'll break your entire Git. Only ever make changes to this through the Git CLI by adding things and adding commits and things like that from the command line. So I have created that, and now I want to touch.gitignore. And you'll notice that touch actually worked inside of here when it doesn't work on the normal Windows PowerShell, because this is bash. That's why it's called git bash. This is a bash script, and bash is different than the Windows automatic one, which is PowerShell. Like if I click here, I've got PowerShell, and if I try to touch test.js, it won't work because touch doesn't exist inside of PowerShell. But this is bash, so touch does exist. All of your Linux commands work in bash, or at least all the main ones. So you see, I created a gitignore. The other way you could do it is just simply to come up here and create a new file titled .gitignore. IGNORE. It won't let me create it because it already exists, but inside of the gitignore, you put all the files that you want Git to ignore. That's pretty straightforward. So in a node application, you always want /node_modules, because you never want your node modules to be included, for the same reason that I have you delete them before you send them to me, because node modules can get absolutely massive, and there's no reason to back that up and add that to your commit every time that you change something. Because your node module, it doesn't matter, because you have your package.json that will be included. So don't include your node modules. So let me go ahead and just save that. And then I want to, let me open my terminal in here. So now I have my terminal, and I'm going to run npm init. And this is where it'll ask you all those questions. Sure, version's fine, description's fine, entry point, I'm going to have server.js. Author Josh Bastine, and I'm going to give mine an MIT license because I like it better than ISC, but they're both very fine. It doesn't matter. Alright, so now you can see I've got that package.json, and if I look in my git status, you can see that I now have those two files to commit. So I'm going to git add all and git commit initial TIAL commit. Now if I do git status again, you can see that nothing to commit, working tree is clean, so everything is already backed up. What's cool is you can see over here that if I make any changes, like inside of package.json for my scripts, remember we did a dev, start dev, I believe is what we called it, and the script is on Windows. What is it on Windows? I sent that out to y'all. Let me look that up again. Go. So that can go away. So start is that, and dev is nodemon server.js. Alright, so I've saved that, and you'll notice here over on the side, package.json changed to orange with a little M next to it. That lets me know that it has been modified since my last Git. So if I do git status, you can see the package.json has been changed, so git add git commit with the message of add scripts to run. So when I come back over here, you'll notice that that orange went away, the M went away, because those have now been committed. Those changes have been committed. If I add something else, if I change something else, like for example, if I npm install express, it'll run, it'll download it, it'll have now a node modules, but also it will add this dependencies thing here. So you can see here my package lock has been updated and my package.json has been modified. Same thing. So if I go back to my git bash, git status, and you'll notice here that even though node modules has not been included in my git repository, it's not trying to include it. The reason it's not trying to include it is because of this gitignore. Anything you put in here will be ignored by git. So /node modules. If you're on a Mac, you probably want to do ds.store, or is it ds_store? I forget. I think it's ds_store. Yeah, .ds_store. That is a file on Macs that is specific to the operating system. It kind of tells your operating system where the icons are located on the screen. It's stuff that does not matter for our actual application. So you can include that on both if you want to. It does not matter. On a Windows, it won't have any effect, but it won't hurt anything. On a Mac, it'll keep that file from being backed up to your Git repository, which you probably don't want. Again, it's not going to hurt anything, but just kind of a best practice to get into. So that's how you would set up your gitignore file on a on a Mac or a Linux machine. You would, all these commands we did in git bash, you could just do directly inside of the VS Code thing down here inside of the terminal inside of VS Code, or on the Mac terminal, either one, whichever you prefer. You don't have to have a special thing, but on Windows you do have to have that git bash in order to do that. Hopefully this helps. Let me know, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Bye.